Let's go. Right, okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the call today. So I'm just back from Miami where we've been doing the sales training with Russell, and it was incredible. He did two lots of 2 days. So we did 2 days covering the IMF training and then 2 days doing HBS. So based on the information that I've learned from that as well, I'm going to be doing the training for us and the team on the 30th of October, 31st of October and 1st of November. So I'm going to be doing it in a slightly different format because we've got different levels of experience here. There's going to be a training manual given out. There's going to be some work to be done. They're going to be long days. We're going to provide you lunch, but it'll be a working lunch. You'll be starting at 9:30 in the morning. We'll be going through probably 12 hours a day at least. So be ready for it, but you're going to learn a hell of a lot from there as well. So a couple of things I want to go through today. The main focus is this weekend. We've got the HBS coming up both in London and in India as well. Kenny's currently at 40,000 feet, so he's not going to be joining us on the call right now, but he was there for the majority of the training this weekend, so he's aware of what we're going to be covering anyway. But a couple of things I just want to address first and foremost is that, you know, whenever tasks are set, it's important that you respond to those quickly and follow the instructions. So I've asked for videos to be sent in of your introductions. Now, the first contact that you have with your students is obviously HBS is during the registration area, so when you're mingling and meeting people outside. But when you do the actual introductions, so you've got 3 to 5 minutes each to do an introduction to the audience, and that's always done before the break. And the idea of the introduction is to seed certain key pointers, if you like. So the things that we need people to be doing are to be seeding mentorships, taking action, not being codependent, not listening to family and friends, deciding to do something different, and investing in the training and education. A lot of people, when they do their introductions, they talk about themselves, which is great because they want to know your story, but also there needs to be a reason behind everything that you do as well. So think about the reasons why people buy, and you want to get people to relate to you. And what I want to do is I want to be role playing this and practicing this more and more. So this is smooth. I want it word for word perfect. And what I would like you to do before the HBS starts is, now you've done your videos, okay, go through it. Those of you that have sent your videos by email, I've sent you a reply to that and telling you exactly what to add and change and take out. So Kate, well done. I think you were the first one. And then who else was Leon there, I think, as well, sent it through. So if you've not sent those videos through, so for everybody, what I want you to do is I want you to send me by email to my email, which is raoul@mobe.com, a 3 to 5 minute video of you doing your introduction. And then I'll give you feedback on that. And as soon as I say it's good to go, I then want you to script it out. And what that means is I want you to just put it down on paper and write it out word for word. And the reason for that is that we're then going to put it to video. And I'm going to be putting like a bit of a collection of videos together. So we'll be using it like a video introduction before you come up on stage as well. It's not going to replace you, but it's just going to be a summary. Nora, what are you showing me? Oh, that's your script. Good. Oh, well done. I can just see a piece of paper. Well done, Nora. Everybody give Nora a round of applause. Let's give Nora the clap. Okay. Do it like you mean it, Amelia. Okay. Right. So, right. So, as far as the weekend's concerned, the most important thing that we need to be training on and learning now is the word posturing. Now, if anybody is trying to sell anybody into any of the packages, we've lost straight away. Ultimately, the whole reason for the 3 days training is for us to interview them to see if they're a good fit for working with us. So it all comes down to the way that you set yourself up from the start. This is going to avoid so many objections and challenges that you're going to get all the way down the line. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to go through on the training, and we're going to be making this a lot more easy to understand, and we'll be role playing it. It'll be a lot clearer. So I've got an hour or so now to try and get as much as I can to you right now. We do have a script which I'm going to be going through with you at the training, and I'm going to make that specific to you guys. We've not got that ready for right here, right now, but I just want you to just get an overview of what we mean by this. So on day one, then, the whole idea of okay, so let me ask you a question first of all. When do we start selling? When do we start selling to students on a HBS? Anybody? Put your hand up if you want to speak, and unmute yourself. She's going to go mental. Amelia?
Oh, you are muted by host. Thank you. I was going to say selling is just from the very beginning. As soon as somebody comes to the event, that's when you're selling. You're seeding constantly and selling.
Awesome. Cool. Is the right answer. So it's important to make sure that from day one, from the very seconds that people start arriving, that's when the sale is starting to be made over the course of the whole weekend. So it comes down to posturing yourself. Now, the way that the script is going to be, I'm not going to be expecting people to do it word for word, but I do expect people to follow the same formula. Now, there's a lot of, we need to have consistency across everybody. So we're going to be training and learning objection handling, and we're going to be coming up with, you know, specific rebuttal scripts and words that we're going to be saying for any kind of objection people have got. There's a trust thing. We need to start with getting the trust level high, getting the professionalism high, and that comes down to, you know, the way that rooms set up, everything's neat and tidy and organized, all the notepads are dead straight and everything's uniform and the same. So that sets it from a visual point of view, and then everybody needs to be saying the same thing. So if any students come up to one person, asks a question, they go to the next person, asks the same question. If they get a different answer, trust level's gone, you're never going to make a sale. So we need to be consistent across the board with everything that we're saying. And this is why I said about a week or two ago to get the closing Bible done. Now, hands up, who's done the closing Bible? So starting with Russell's call and added, so put your hands up if you've done the closing Bible. So by that, I mean, you've written down the objections that Russell trained on. So I think that's everybody. Abraham, yeah, I'll see you as well. Okay, so I want you to also add to that as well. Now, have you all sent that to Nora as well? Hands up if you have. Okay, so there's some shaking heads as well. So if you've not sent that, can you do that within an hour of this call finishing? Because what I want to do is I want to collate a big document and I want to summarize it all in one place, and then we're going to get it as a working document that we're going to then use for role plays before every single session moving forward. So I want to make sure that we're consistent across the board. So as far as posturing and positioning, then when people arrive in the event, we're going to start off greeting people. Every single person should be out in the registration area as soon as the first person arrives. So if we're starting at 9 o'clock, registration, we say 8:30, but it's really got to be ready from 8 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as the first person arrives, then we need everybody out in the room. So RX in and meeting up with the students. So we've got X number of people coming in. We've got X number of reps out there. You need to make sure that everybody is in the registration area straight away so that nobody's missing anything out. So what I mean by that is we need to make sure that the room is organized and everything is set up, which means you've got to get down there the evening before and get everything, where possible, set up to the best of your ability. Now, sometimes we don't get access to the room till midnight. I've been setting up at, you know, till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning before now. That's the way to do it. It's too late to start it in the morning at any time, because if there's any problems, we can't, you know, it's going to just run into that RX in time. So it's absolutely essential that every single thing is set up by 8 o'clock at the latest. You've had your breakfast and you're dressed and, you know, you're ready to go. So I want everybody to be able to be out there in the audience mingling, speaking to students. Now, take good notes here. Has everybody got the notepad? Show me your notepads. Done. Awesome, awesome. And have you got a pen to write on that notepad as well? Carl's furiously looking around for his. I'll give you a second as well, Carl. You got a spare pen in case that one runs out, and then a spare one in case your spare one runs out. You good to go, Carl? Yeah, maybe.
Still hunting for mine in my bag.
Okay, all right, I'll give you a second. Right, so the way that it starts off is one of the first things that people generally say is things like, so what brought you here to Mobe today? Okay, if you're going to get somebody like me, I remember the first time I ever went to a training in 2009, and my answer was a train. So you're going to get smart asses like me all the time. That's not necessarily going to be the best way to start the conversation. What is the one thing that we need to do as reps? What is the main thing that we need to be finding out? Amelia?
Find their pain, pressure, their point, why they're here.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Anybody?
Their goals.
Goals, good. What else?
What they're currently doing. Have they done anything like this before?
Okay, good. What else?
21 steps. Who's their coach? Have they done anything?
Okay, what else? Have they got their own business? Nick says, yeah. What else? Missing the key thing here, guys. This is the one major thing that we need. Money. Amelia says money. Well done. So it's the money. We need to be getting into the money questions. And too many people are too scared. The biggest reason why people fail in sales is they're too scared to ask for the sale. They're too scared to ask for the business. So ultimately, we can be selling all day long to somebody, but if they ain't got no money, then it's going to be a challenge. We need to find where the money is, and everybody has access to money. Okay, so I'm going to be, in fact, when Ken lands, for everybody over there, Ken's been given a notebook. I've got mine somewhere. I'll dig it out in a second. But Ken's been given a notebook, and on the back page of the notebook is a piece of paper with a whole list of areas that you can go digging for money. So we're going to duplicate that for you guys. I'm going to get you the same notebooks at the training, but for the time being, just go through. Where's my actual phone? Anybody see my phone anywhere? I've lost it. Is that mine? Cool. Thank you. So when we're going through the actual training, I'm going to give you these things. But for those of you that are over in India, Ken's got a copy of it. So I want you to all take a picture of that. So I've got it in here somewhere. Yeah, I'll get it to you after the call. Okay. So I want you to take a picture of that or make a note of it ideally. And there's a whole list of places where you can get the money from. So when do you think we should start digging for the money, do you think? Yeah, right at the start. Okay. Don't be scared of this. I mean, don't go in and say, congratulations for coming here. How much money have you got? Obviously, that's a little bit silly. But the kind of questions I want you to all, if you're all asking the same questions in the same order all the time, and then, the same student gets picked up by 2 or 3 reps and then they ask the same questions in the ssame order, they're going to know it's scripted. They're going to know there's a process going on. So it needs to be conversational. It needs to be relaxed. It needs to be in your words and your language. But you want to start getting around people and asking, what is the reason for being here? What are the goals? Okay, so this is the first thing to write down. What is your goal? What is your objective for being here this weekend? Okay, so what's your main reason for being here? What do you want to get out of this weekend? All right. Ask them if they're married, and if their partner's going to be with them as well. Ask them if they make decisions on their own. Ask them what they do for a living. Why do we want to ask them what they do for a living? What does that give us? Money. Okay. So what kind of income they've got? What else? Have they got a business owner? Yeah. What else? What can we tell about somebody by the job title? Mentality, entrepreneurial. What else? Mindset. What else? Income for sure. Yeah, but what else? Okay. What if they're an engineer? Yeah. So what kind of personality type they are as well? So there's 4 different personality types. So we've got the color code process. Those of you that are on the Asia team, do you know if Ken does the personality color code test with the students? Does he go send them to colorcode.com? No? Okay, I'll get him to do that because there's a test. So what is it now? Is it colorcode.com? Yeah? Yeah. All right, so if you all make a note of colorcode.com, okay, I want you to do this. So set this as a task. Nora, can you make notes for minutes as well, just to make sure people know what they're doing? So yeah, so it's the American version of color, so colorcode.com. All right, but Google it, you can find it. And you run a test and it'll identify what personality type you are by the color, by a color. So the different personality types are: red is a driver. So that's somebody who's business orientated. They just want the facts. They don't want to talk about, skating around the edges, just get straight to the point. You've got yellow, which are more sociable people. They'll talk to you all day long and they'll talk about all sorts of things and eventually get down to business, like Amelia. Then you've got the green people. You've got the gentle green people who need a stroke and they need a hug. They need care and attention. Marita's putting a hand up for that one. And you then got the blue people who are the analytical, okay? Loves a spreadsheet, okay? Scare the life out of me, these kind of people. I don't know how the brain works, but anybody who loves a spreadsheet, they're very much analytical kind of people. Mike Hagan, that was on the training this weekend, he's very much analytical. And he did his personality test and it came up analytical. So he went and did it again to try and change the answers to get him to be more of a driver. And he ended up even more blue. So because what he was doing, he was actually analyzing the figures to try and make it more different, but it became even more analytical. It's crazy. Okay, you've done the same. All right. And there's also a white one as well. There's different ways of training this as well, which can be you know, fish and animals and all sorts of different things as well. But you know, let's keep it nice and simple. So you know, without going into too much detail now, I just want you to do the test for yourself, okay? And then I want you to post in the group what is your color code, all right? And then read what kind of things turn you on and turn you off, and how you know, you need to learn how to sell to those kind of people. So if you are a red person yourself, or a yellow person, or blue or green, does that mean you can only sell to the same kind of people? No. If you're a sales professional, as you all are, you need to be able to learn how to sell to each individual personality type. So you need to adjust the way that you're speaking. If you find somebody who's red, then you've got to match that. If you find somebody who's analytical, you need to give them the exact figures. Don't just skate around the edges. If it's somebody that's sociable, you can just round it up a little bit and just have a laugh and a joke and talk about community and family and so on, okay? So start to learn the different personality types. Nora's getting all excited now. Nora. Okay, Nora's just posted a link in the group, so you can all pick that up straight after the call, okay? Right, so when you're speaking to people, then we're going to find out, you know, so what's your objectives for being here? What's your goal for being here? Now, get this as well. Does it matter what kind of dog they've got? Does it matter what their favorite color is? Okay, what, you know, what route they came down, or you know, what their hobbies and spare time interests. Listen, this is a serious business discussion that we're going to be having with people. So I want you to start with your posturing from the minute that you meet people, being a business professional, and we're going to talk business. Okay. So we're going to address it from stage, and we're going to say, you know, the best kind of coach is somebody who's direct, who tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm going to take on that role as your coach and trainer as well. So you'll find me being quite direct with you as well. And those of you that have got the feedback from me today with your videos, you'll just find I'm just hitting you. I'm just telling you what you need to know. So when you're speaking to the students as well, just set it up in the same way. Just go straight into business, all right? No time for wishy-washy. You know, if there's 50 people in the room and you're spending 5 minutes talking about, you know, the weather and, you know, what the favorite color is and what they'd like to have for breakfast and stuff, then that's half a day wasted ultimately, you know, if every single person's doing it. So we need to get straight down to the business. Okay, so tell me, in order for me to help you, tell me what's your goal for this weekend? What brought you here this weekend? What are you looking to get out of the weekend? Awesome. What do you do for a living? Have you done anything like this before? You know, and then, you know, have you invested in any kind of business opportunities yourself? Have you got your own business? Just start to get a big picture of where we're at with this. What is most important then is that you take a note of all that, and then you put it into Evernote. I want to make sure that by the way, is everybody okay with Evernote? Does everybody know how to use Evernote? Nod or shake your heads. You all know how to do it. So I want every single person to have a photo taken, and I want the notes being updated into that. Nora, as a task, can you do some research for me into Dropbox Paper? It's a brand new thing that is like Evernote. It's got its limitations. It's very similar, but the biggest difference that I can see as a potential advantage is that anybody that adds a comment to it, it highlights who made the change. So you can see who's actually updating it, okay? So we may change from Evernote to Dropbox Paper, but I'll come back to you on that one. So for the time being, I want everybody using Evernote, but it's super, super important that they share that information in those notes. The goal is to get round and touch every single person on day one. So if there's 50 people in the room and there's 5 of you working, that's 10 people each. It's never going to work that way. There's going to be an overlap. There's going to be, you know, maybe the good looking ones will get touched by everybody. I don't know, but you need to make sure there's a system with this. There's a number of ways of doing this. You can quarterize the room, for example. So if there's 4 people, one person can have the front left quarter, one person can have the front right quarter, and so on. I don't particularly like that method of doing it because people move around, and you know, it's difficult to, if you start speaking to somebody, say, stop, I can't talk to you, I've got to go and speak to Julie over this side of the room. So I don't necessarily like that, but what I do want to see is that everybody is on their feet, and at every break getting up and proactively going, finding the people that you need to speak to. Identify those that have already been touched and out those that haven't, and it's quite often the quiet ones that are hiding at the back of the room that might be your biggest sale, but you've got to give them that love, care and attention. One of the biggest goals to remember as well is to make sure that at the end of Friday, they're going to come back on Saturday as well. All right, so bear that in mind. Now, coming down to the introduction. So as you're speaking to people as well, is in the initial area, outside registration, it's, you know, what's brought you here, what are your goals, what are you looking to achieve out this weekend, what do you do for a living, are you married, have you got somebody with you, you know, can you make decisions on your own, how keen are you to get started, what's your reason why, all those kind of conversations. You don't need to ask them all, it's not an interview. You can do this in a group of 4 or 5 people if it's getting busy, but ultimately we need to be getting that into as many people as possible. Is everybody okay with that so far? Any questions, any concerns? Hands up if you've got any questions or anything you want to add to that. Anybody? All good? James, you okay? Cool. Okay, so that's the registration area then. The idea being then is that we open the doors and start at 9 o'clock to loud music. You take control of the seating. If there's any existing affiliates, you put them on the front row first, and fill up from the front row. Take control of them coming in. Again, it's down to posturing, okay? Then comes your introduction. So Ken will open it up a little bit. Now Ken's going to do a slightly different presentation to what you've done in the past as well, by the way, team. So we're going to be getting to the money much quicker. So I don't know exactly how he's going to do it just yet, but have you got the where are you now forms? Kate, yeah, you know the ones we mean, okay? So the where are you now forms, we're going to do this slightly differently. Rather than handing them out from day one, we're actually going to invite people to have a one-to-one on day one with the team at the back and say, talk about raising the money, okay? So you got a question, James, or you just, oh, that's okay, no problem. You've got a massive hand there because of like, looks like that. The where are you now form, rather than just giving it to the students to fill in because, you know, they're going to lie, it's not going to be the right kind of thing. So we're going to set up the money thing much earlier in the day. So that's going to come right down to, you know, possibly before the first break. I don't think it can be done till after the first break, but it'll be certainly done before lunchtime. So for the London team, that you know that I do the credit card script and I go through and do the credit card process. I'm going to do that different this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start talking about money, and then when I've done the credit card game in the past, I've talked about how you can use credit cards to move around and raise capital, and then I ask Ben, you know, oh, you've done this recently, Ben, do you want to share your story? What I'm going to do this time instead is probably just after the break is just get into the subject of money, start talking about money, and then I'll just mention Ben. So I'm going to be anchoring people in the back of the room a lot over the course of this weekend. Hopefully Ken will do the same, so that I want to really edify the people at the back. You know, the success coaches are there to help out. So I want the audience, I want the students to know that you guys know what you're talking about. So I'm going to talk about, you know, raising money and raising capital, and say, actually, you know, there's somebody at the back of the room who's just done this recently, and then I'll just bring Ben up and say, Ben, just share what you've done. So Ben will then talk about how he's used credit cards to raise a load of money. So he's applied for how many new credit cards? Was it about 7 or 8 or 9 or something, Ben? Something like that. So quite a lot of money. So it's just by using this simple little process, this little system, he's managed to raise $150,000. And then I'll ask the question: would anybody be interested in finding out how to do that? I'm going to then give them homework at the end of the day to watch step 13 of the 21 steps. I'm trying to get a link to that so I can send them directly to it, because that will then give them the training that they need moving forward. But I just want to come away from forcing them to do the credit card game, because it's a little bit cheesy now. Every single seminar company is doing it, and we just want to be different and better. So rather than doing it as a group, teaching everybody, I'm going to invite who would like to know how to do this. And most, if not all, hands will go up. I'll then introduce the Where Are You Now form, and that'll be a chance for them to, if they want to know how to do this, they need to go and sit down with the coaches. So they'll then set up one-to-one appointments, 5-10 minutes each, to go through the Where Are You Now form, and then to show them exactly what they need to do next. So you can just tell them on a one-on-one basis a personalized plan. So rather than me teaching from the front a general way of doing it, you can get a list of the credit cards and say, all right, this is what you need to do. Give them the credit card script and do it from the back of the room. So it's anchoring you. Straight away, people are coming to you to talk about money. Straight away, we dig in for the money. Straight away, they know exactly why they want to be doing this as well. So, because you're going to have, you know, some people are well up for this. You're going to have some people who are a little bit negative about it. Well, you can address it one at a time without having anybody negative standing up and saying, you know, are you just doing this to try and sell us things? So understand this, first and foremost, whatever funding options we've got, be it new credit cards, be it accessing pension funds, be it selling a car, house, or any other assets they got, do we use funding to get positioned? Question. At any point, would we use funding to get positioned within Moog? Shaking heads. Commit one way or the other, yes or no? Everybody commit, yes or no? Nora says no, Carl says no, James says no. Kate, yes or no? No, good, okay. Yeah, exactly right. Funding is for, traffic is for investing into the business. So we're talking business all day long. Every single business needs customers. Every single business needs an investment in order to get those customers. So we're going to talk about the benefit of having funding, because if they're only going to spend $5 a day, that's $150 in a month. That's not going to make them any real money. Now, question, how much money do they need to be spending realistically to get a decent return on promoting an event? How much should they be putting into a single campaign? Specific amounts. Hands up if you've got an idea. Go on, Ben.
Probably about 2,000. 2,000,
okay.
500 to 2,000.
Okay, I'd say 2,000 to 2,500 as a minimum, okay, as a campaign to get a decent return. So if we're talking to somebody who's serious, who's going to be platinum or diamond, then they need to be budgeting $2,500 to $5,000. And for that, they're going to get a sort of 5 to 6 to 1 return, okay, 5 to 1 return or 6 to 1 return on their money. You need to have a certain number of people registered to get a certain number of people to show up, to get a certain number of people to buy. If you're only running a small campaign with $5 a day, then you're not going to get enough people to register to show up to actually buy. So there is a certain element of putting the numbers in there. So if they need to be spending $2,500 on a marketing one event, and we've got an event every single week, that's 10 grand a month. So we're now talking quite a lot of money. Before they even actually start to make a profit, they're not going to be getting paid for at least a month and a half to 2 months. So they need to raise $20,000 in addition to the $60,000 that they need to get positioned at Diamond, so that they can then start to drive massive traffic in there. Now, is everybody comfortable asking for that amount of money and sitting down with a student saying, right, yeah, you need to be spending 20 grand a month to make a success of this? Does anybody have a challenge with that? And be honest. Hands up if you've got a challenge asking for that kind of money. Or even sitting down with somebody and telling them that that's what they need to spend. Anybody? You're comfortable with that? Say that again. Millions in rupees. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, yeah, in rupees it's going to be lots, but we're always going to be talking in US dollars. We need to address that early on and say, everything's in US dollars. You've got to do your own translations. That's the universal currency. So. So what I'm getting at here is we're trying to identify the people with the big money. Ultimately, what we're going to be selling over the weekend is packages of deals, which I'll come back onto in a second. But we need to be talking to people about big numbers. I'm not interested in selling silver packages. I'm not interested in finding the broke people and just trying to get them started with this. We're looking for the people who have got the money to get started and make a good return on their investment. So when you're doing the introduction, then it's about positioning yourself and posturing yourself as a business expert. It's about somebody that's made a decision. So the things that people need to be aware of is they've got to make a decision. If you read Think and Grow Rich, who's read Think and Grow Rich, by the way? Okay, should all read that. And you should all read it every single year, because there's always a different message based on where you're at. Chapter 8 talks about the art of decision making. Successful people make decisions quickly. Poor people, without exception, make decisions slowly and change them often. So somebody when you're doing your introduction speeches, at least one of you needs to harp on about and really anchor decision making in your introduction. So it's about making that decision to leave the job, making that decision to do something different with your life. All right, because Tony Robbins said it's in the moment of decision that your destiny is formed. I wouldn't necessarily use that quote and quote Tony Robbins, but you could say one of my mentors told me that once you make a decision, everything conspires to make it happen. That's just how the law of the universe works. So talk about decision making. Somebody else needs to talk about maybe if you've had a negative husband or wife, but you decided to do it anyway, because you didn't want, that decision making process that they've done all their life has kept them broke. So that's why they needed to make a change in order to get a change. Training and education, investing in your training and education. Nobody can learn on their own. Anybody that thinks they can are deluded. And anybody who thinks they know everything, that's probably why they're going to remain broke for the rest of their life. So anchoring those different things is going to get different kind of people to respond or to relate to different reps. Now, when we're covering the financing thing, we're going to be starting that earlier on in the weekend, rather than leaving it till the end of day one, as I think happens So Kate, when does Ken normally cover financing? Is it normally towards the end of day one? Does it as homework?
No, lately he starts with around after the first break. He's
Good.
starting talking about money and all.
Good. Okay. So we're going to focus on that a lot right now, because ultimately we need to get it very clear to them, get it through to them that they need to finance the business. So when you're doing your consultations on Saturday and Sunday, we'll talk about finance, we'll talk about future money and stuff, money that they're going to raise, but all they're going to use that for is for funding and financing the business, buying traffic effectively, placing adverts. What we need to talk about right now is getting you positioned in the business. So what have you got right now? Because what we're looking to do is making sure that we're collecting in the room. I don't want any crappy contracts doing. If there's anybody going to sell a diamond package with a 2,000 deposit that never gets collected, then you're not going to work any more HBS events, because that's just absolute rubbish. It's Mickey Mouse contracts. You're just writing stuff up to make yourself look good. We need to make sure that we are collecting an absolute minimum of 50% of what we sell. All right. So if we're selling more than that, it's if they're not putting the money down today, they're not committed. So we need to be really working hard to dig and dig and dig for the money. So when you've got somebody sat down in front of you, and I'm just moving you forward to Saturday and Sunday now, but this is coming back to what you're going to discuss on Friday, is when you're sitting down with somebody, you're going to break down their numbers. You're going to give them a personalized plan. So this is what you've got. You've got 10,000 in a savings account. You've got 15,000 on credit cards. You've got a pension plan. You've got equity in your house. You've got a car that you can sell. You've got stocks and shares. You've got gold and silver you can sell. Whatever it is that they've got, you list it all down there. And then you give them an exact plan as to how they're going to use that. A lot of people are concerned about using credit cards because they're still thinking broke mentality, thinking about, well, if I put $20,000 onto a credit card, I'm going to then have to raise the money every single month to pay for that. But you need to show them how that the funding and the financing they've got is going to make the payments for them. And within the first month or two, they're going to start making profits back on the business, which will finance the credit cards. So you need to break it down and spend time with people to show them exactly how the money's going to work. So coming back to these one-to-one consultations. So when Ken starts talking about money, Kate, have you done the exercise with credit cards yourself? Have you raised any money on credit cards? No? So have you phoned your banks up to try and get more money from credit cards? Have you done that? Right, you're muted now. Okay, so Kate,
Okay.
so have you done the exercise with credit cards?
For previous HBS, yes.
Okay, have you done it personally though?
No.
Okay, no problem. Has there anybody on
I
the
don't
team?
have a credit card.
Right, okay. So maybe we can look at doing things like that as well, because sometimes if you've not done something yourself, to expect and ask somebody else to do it is an even bigger challenge. So we'll maybe have a separate conversation about that. But it's worth all of you doing this for your own benefit as well. It would make it so much easier if Ken could use a case study of somebody at the back of the room, one of the success coaches. So go through, every one of you, I want you to think about going through the exercise of, if you've not got a credit card, get one. If you've got one, extend it, make the phone call to them, move money around and do the things that we talk about so that you can then teach by example, okay? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be inviting people to come back to discuss how they can actually raise money. And you're going to just start digging for the money at that point. So you fill in the where are you now form, and you can ask them specific questions about understand, right? So we're going to be talking about business. You're serious about business. I'm assuming that you're here because you're serious about business and you want to make some profits. So you understand then that business needs an investment. So let's talk about where the money's going to come from, and let's see if we can help find you a strategy to finance and fund your business. Okay, so whatever that's going to be, and then you can fill in some accurate information. Now, when you're having conversations so prior to that now, so just taking it a step, let's just unwind, let's just start from the beginning again. When we're doing the registration outside, at this point, you're just getting in there, you're showing posturing and authority, and you're being serious and straight to the point, but you're also starting to build a picture of where they're at. So step one is at registration, you're going to build a bit of a picture about who your students are. Now, when you start meeting people at break time, then, all right, definitely 100% when you're sitting down with them after the break, when you're talking money, this is when we start to introduce the script. So as you're going through the where are you now form with them, you're then going to start using these kind of words and take good notes now. So, okay, so based on what you've told me right now, I'm going to be assigned your coach. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to be your coach now this weekend. So I'm here as your personal coach. You can reach out to me at any time. So at any point that you decide that you want to move forward, or any point that you decide you're ready to get started, or you need anything, come and see me at any time during the course of this weekend. So what you're now doing is future pacing. Okay, so you're now telling them that you're there to help them get started already. This is even before lunchtime on day one. So they know that you're there as their personal coach. So you're setting up the fact that they've got a coach, you are their coach, provided you've got rapport with them and you're getting on well. I'll cover that in a second. But you're going to be their coach and helping them through the whole weekend. So they know that they've got a point of contact. They can come and see you at any time. Now, if you find that you're struggling with that person, they're not really keen to give you the information, or there's a bit of a personality clash, then don't introduce that part of the script. Just hand them over to somebody else. Just trying to find somebody with the right personality type. So this comes back down to, why are we doing the color code thing? Why do you need to know your personality type? Well, you actually need to know each other's personality types. You need to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So you might, for example, get typically an Indian male speaking with either Amelia or Kate or any of the ladies. You're going to struggle to get anywhere with them, because your job is to be assertive and tell them what they need to do. Indian male, their culture, that just doesn't happen. Okay, you are my wife, you will obey me. That's pretty much how they work. So that needs handing over and taking over to a male, all right, all day long. But that's quite an extreme example. You need to know very much. In fact, that's going to be a big struggle for ladies over in India as well, because there's going to be a lot of that kind of culture-based thing going on. So men, you need to step up a little bit, okay? But we'll see how that goes as we're going through the weekend. So when you're sitting down with them, if the personality type is right and you're getting rapport with them, then you start to introduce the script. So on day one, you're talking about how you're going to be assigned as their coach and you're going to be helping them move forward. So we're going to assume that they're going to want to move forward. We're going to be talking business conversation all the time. They're all going to have a story. Listen, they're all going to have, financial issues and marital issues and mental issues and stuff. Is that of any interest to us at all? No. We don't need to be getting drawn into those conversations. Let's keep it specific about the business, all right? Now, every question should be towards getting a yes, all right? So when you're speaking to people, just sit down, even from day one. So what kind of questions can you ask to get a yes answer? Dead simple ones. Give me some examples. Team here in London, you can just shout it to me and I'll repeat it. So, Amelia? Yeah. So she's saying, I take it this is something that you want to do. Okay. Maybe. But I want something that's a bit more specific rather than a little bit wishy-washy. So don't, just be a little bit more direct. Okay. So a nice, simple one line. That's like an assumptive clause a little bit. I'm trying to get a committing question now. I'm trying to get a yes out of people. And I want to get 3, 4, 5 yeses out of people before I start going into digging for the money. So a nice, simple little question. Are you committed to your financial future? Okay. Are you committed to your financial future? Yeah. An even easier one would be, Ken's a great speaker, isn't he? Okay. He's a great trainer, isn't he? And nod your head at the same time. So it's a nice, easy one that they can't say no to, that you're driving them a little bit. So he's a great trainer, isn't he? Yes, brilliant. And you're committed to your financial future, aren't you? Brilliant. Okay. And you can see the benefit of training and education, can't you? Yes. So once you then got a few committing questions from people, that they're going in the right direction, you've got control of the conversation right now, then you can maybe go back into so talking about not so much the story, but what are the challenges. So are you in a job right now? Have you tried things like this in the past? So anybody that's tried stuff in the past and failed, what are they missing? Why have they failed? What have they been missing? Support, systems, mindset, training and education. It's a biggie. It's what we're selling. So the reason that you've not been successful in the past is that you've not had the right training and education. You've not had the right coach and support and help and hand-holding. So this is when you can start to really pre-sell the benefits of what Mobe's all about. So you can then start to commit them as well and say, so the things that haven't worked for you in the past, would it be fair to say that that happened because you didn't have the right training and education, number one? Would it be fair to say that happened because you didn't have the right coach and mentor to help you with this? And get them to agree to that as well. So if we could offer you the training and education, and we could give you the coaching, the hand-holding and support that you need, would that be of benefit to you? Could you see yourself being successful with this as well? Yeah. So you're not actually closing at this point. All you're doing at this point is just getting a little bit of commitment from people, just to say, get them in the right mindset, knowing that that's what you're going to sell them in the future. Does that make sense? Is everybody okay with that? Yes or yes? Hands up, gives a thumbs up, or thumbs down, or thumbs to the side if you don't know what I'm talking about. Everybody cool? Right. So, so that's the initial conversation. So you're going to have a sit down with them. You're going to go through the Where Are You Now forms, and you're going to spend 5 or 10 minutes with them, just directing the conversation in a positive way, start to dig for the money, and positioning that in such a way that, you know, we're going to talk about money right now. And the big reason for this is that if we can show you a way to raise money, and you can use the same verbiage as well. I want you to listen very carefully to the words that Ken or myself uses from stage and repeat the same words. So I say things like, from the start is, you know, if you had $100,000 in your bank account right now, who feels that they could, you know, how much, I asked the audience the question, how much do you think you could raise or make in profits over the next 12 months? And quite often it comes back down to about $1 million. So I said, well, I would agree with you. So if you could raise $100,000 right now, you could make $1 million over the next 12 months. And I also asked the question, you know, who would borrow $100,000 even at 100% interest rate? And initially, most people say no, because they're focusing on the cost of 100% being high. But then the reality is, when they look at value, they can say if they borrow 100,000, which means they've then got to pay back 200,000 in 12 months, they've actually made $800,000 in profits, because they've made $1 million in commissions. Then they can see the value of it, and they can start to understand why it's good to borrow money. We just need to take that mindset from broke mindset to, you know, rich person's mindset, which Ken will do and myself will do over the course of the weekend. So you can see the value of investing in your business. All successful businesses have had, you know, investment into to get them to where they are. So all we're doing at this stage is getting an accurate representation. So ideally, what you should have then is, you know, 6 or 10 Where Are You Now forms filled in with your name on it and the student's name. So you've got your clients now for the weekend. You've got your students lined up for the weekend. Now, it's not always going to be those same people. Personality types might mean somebody else is better dealing with them. They may connect better with somebody else over the course of the weekend. But this is your working document. These are your first leads that you can be working on over the course of the weekend. Is everybody okay with that so far? Good, right. Now, when it comes down to the packages, and we need to change a lot over the weekend as well. So rather than selling silver, gold, titanium, platinum, and diamond as individual programs, there's confusion with the compensation plan because it talks about the $19.95 a month and selling 5 deals and all the rest of it. I'm going to simplify it into, we're selling packages, okay? So, for example, how much is a fully positioned? So we're going to use verbiage like all in, okay? So be committed to be all in, okay? So for somebody on a home business summit, so for somebody to go all the way and all in with Mobe this weekend, what would be their investment? So let's say you've got a driver, you feel that they've got some money and they can afford to go all in, all right? How much do we take off them? What's the top level that we're going to sell them? How much? Amelia? To be all in? Yeah, so give me a number. How much? 100,000. Okay, Kate?
62,000, around there.
62,000. Okay. Anybody else?
Around.
So Amelia says 100. Kate says 62. James? 61. Interesting. Okay. Nora? Don't know. Okay. Nick?
75 to 80.
Good. Okay. 75 to 80. So Nick's saying 75 to 80,000. Okay. Anybody else got any advances on that? Liana?
65.
87.
65. Okay. Abraham?
Around 65 as well.
Okay. Right. Okay. So just looking at the verbiage as well. So using the words around 65. Well, if you're sitting down with a student right now, so let's say a student comes back, or even at the first, when you're sitting down filling in the "Where are you now" form, and the student might say to you, "Listen, I'm sold on this. This sounds great." Okay, so you're going to get laydowns like this. I've got loads of money in the bank. I've just sold a business. I've got all the time in the world, and I can finance things. Just give it to me straight. I'm a driver, so I want you to just tell me straight. They're never going to say those words, by the way. So what do we tell them? If you say that it's around about 65,000, okay, that's just made up. It's not specific enough. We need to know the exact numbers. Now, what I'm getting at here is to be fully positioned on a home business summit, to be all in, all right, is going to be in excess of $75,000, because you're going to sell them diamond, $60,000. You're going to sell them the inner circle. How much is that? Whatever it is, 2,500. But what else? Where's the other 15 grand? Mentorship, 5-day mentorship as well. Okay, so we need to be making, one thing that we can do at these events is we can sell the 5-day mentorship as well. If you can get enough 5-day mentorship sales, I'll get a 5-day mentorship in your in that area as well. Now, most of them are done right now in Costa Rica. We will be doing one in London. I just got confirmation yesterday from Matt, so I've set that up I've got that agreed by Matt. They're not going to get their accommodation covered. Okay, if they want to go to Costa Rica, they can have free accommodation and free food. But if they want to do it in London, if they cover that themselves, then we can do a 5-day mentorship for them in London. All right, so that's going to happen probably December or January. All right, so it'll be December or January. So I just need to confirm the dates with the guys. So we can be selling a diamond package and a 15K mentorship. Now, and that's what we're going to be selling from stage. Now, you do have the authority to sell a 25K one-to-one mentorship as well. But that's going to be on a one-to-one basis. It's not going to be done to the group, and it's going to be done by invitation only if somebody qualifies for it. 100% they've got to qualify for everything. So, but that aside, what we're going to be selling from the front is to be fully positioned is in excess of 75K. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selling packages. Now, the package is going to be first level. In fact, we're going to be selling mastermind packages. That's the key. So I'm not interested in silver gold at all. That's just Mickey Mouse stuff. All right. So that's a down sell that you can do with somebody on Sunday if need be. Now, the mastermind packages there's 3 of them. There's either titanium, there's platinum, or there's all in. So if somebody's going to go, if the best they can do is titanium, then it's the silver gold plus titanium, $12,500, plus the annual inner circle, all paid in full, plus the 3% charge if it's a credit card, all paid in full. How many? Plus the $19.95, yeah. So, by the way, just make a note of this as well. You all need to make sure that you actually take and process the $19.95 a month fee up front. You need to go onto the website and you need to register their credit card details for the $19.95 a month. They won't get their login details. They won't be able to market the business if they've not done that, all right? And equally, you won't get paid commission if that's not been done as well. Then we need to make sure that they have the inner circle. Nora? Good. So you need to take a screenshot. So when you go on to the website and you put their credit card details in for the $19.95, you then need to take a screenshot. The way that you take a screenshot, by the way, is with Jing. I want every single one of you to download Jing, J-I-N-G. It's a free software tool. And the reason for this is even though you can take a screenshot on your computer, so you can do a screen grab or you can do Control and F3 or whatever it is on a Mac, I don't even know. That's no good. Print screen on a PC. That's no good because it's an image. You cannot save an image in a spreadsheet. So we've got a spreadsheet where you can put links in. So with Jing, when you take a screenshot, it actually saves the screenshot in the Jing's servers and gives you a link to it. We can then copy and paste that link into a spreadsheet and share it wherever we need to. Okay. So can you all make sure you download Jing, please? Yes. Good. So whenever you just always think this, CYA, cover your ass. So always overdo things. Now, any processing of payments with wires or the $19.95 or the inner circle, anything that's done online, Jing it, screenshot it and send it through, okay? So we've got evidence of everything. So when we've got the packages that we're selling, the mastermind packages, so we're going to be talking about the mastermind levels. So level 1 is titanium, which is going to include silver, gold, titanium, inner circle, $19.95 a month, okay? They cannot do the mentorship. They cannot buy traffic at that level at all. That's the sort of basic level. That's where we're starting from. So how are you going to finance that today? What can you do today? We need to get you fully paid up on that. The next level then would be platinum, which is going to include silver, gold, titanium, platinum, the inner circle, and the 1995 fee as well. What that then does, I mean, platinum is the highest level realistically for a lot of people, because diamond is by personal invitation only. We need to get that agreed by myself and Matt Lloyd, okay? So let's look at platinum. If somebody's positioned at platinum, then they've got loads and loads of other benefits that come with that as well. For example, they're going to get the traffic coaching sessions. They're going to get, 2 mastermind events rather than just one. They're going to get all those extra summits that they're going to be getting as well. So are you all familiar with all the summits that you get on a mastermind? So we'll need to go through the brochure and make sure that you're up to speed with that. So sell each one of those, stack it all up. When you're actually selling to people, write things down. People are visual. So whatever you say, you write at the same time and you do it in front of them so they can see you doing this. So on that basis, when you're sitting around a table and you're doing a consultation, if you've got a round table or a little square table, if you're right-handed, the student needs to be the right-hand side of you so that when you're writing things down, they can see it. It's far more powerful that way. So without wanting to go off at too much of a tangent, you need to have a system for your tables. Your table needs to be set up the same way every single time. So have it in the same part of the shoot. You need a bottle of water there. You need your contracts or your agreements, as we're going to call them, your folders, pens, everything that you need. The chairs set out in a certain way, extension lead if you need your laptop, and so on. So make sure your stall set out every single time. So coming back to the packages then. So titanium, we've got platinum, so at platinum level, what they can also do, and it's only at this level, they can also buy traffic. We Sell Good Traffic is now only available to platinums and diamonds only. If you're titanium, you can't do it anymore. The price has gone up recently as well. So Nora, can you just make a note to me to update my slides as well? So the price has gone up for We Sell Good Traffic. The reason for this is that there is currently a 10-week fulfillment on We Sell Good Traffic. So it's been oversubscribed. So Matt is now paying the vendors that create these leads more money, which has basically increased the price to the end user as well, and has prevented anybody less than platinum buying it as well. So as it stands right now, we've got a 10-week fulfillment time on that, but that will come back down again. So for now, that's what it is. But you've got to be platinum to be able to buy that. Also at platinum level, you get free admission to any future HBS. You get a free ticket to the Supercharge event, and it also enables you to buy the coaching and mentorship package as well. Okay, when somebody's at the platinum level, then you've got 2 options to go from here. If you can get somebody in at the platinum level, you've got 2 ways to go here. Now, the ideal way is that we take them to diamond. Okay, take them to the diamond level, which is a further 30,000 investment, as you know. What you can also do is, rather than selling them diamond, you could sell them into the coaching. So you could position them at platinum and then add the coaching package on top of that as well. So this is going to have to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. So I don't want anybody to make this call just in the meeting when you're having a consultation with a student. So you need to look at the options. And this, when I talk about posturing in a second, is they're going to have to sell you on why they qualify for either of those levels. All right. And then the top level is diamond. Now, if they're going to go diamond, every single thing is done for them as well. So the whole thing is done for you. With diamond as well, in order to really sort of move it forward at some pace, then get the 5-day mentoring package as well. So that's a 75k investment plus the other bits that come with it as well. So I'm just trying to find really, really good slide. Right, so I want to add this into Skype. How can I add that to Skype? So, right. I took a couple of photos of the screen. Right, so I need to download this thing off the internet. Okay. There's a couple of things I want to send in the group right now, which, yeah, go for it.
So just wanted to add something with that we can all do. So each one of those extra summits that the titanium, platinum, and diamond have, they all have their own sales letter page.
Yep.
So it would be useful. Maybe I'll put together a link for each one of those. And
We've done that before, Nora.
Have we?
You've sent a list of all the
have you-
different things. So can you put that back in the group again? So it's a good point. So everybody needs to go on those as well, because you need to know what you're selling. People don't, product knowledge is one of those biggest things that's lacking. I'm going to send this to you. Right, let me try and do it this way instead. Right, can you all see that? Okay, so this is what Don Sprelling. Don has sold, can you all see that, yes? Every nod? Right, okay. So I want you to just, can you take a screen grab of that? Can you all do that? So just put it in the thing and then just do a screen grab, and then you've all got it. It's probably the easiest way. Let me send it to you. Okay, I'll put it in the group afterwards. I'll put it in the group afterwards as well. But this is what Don Spradlin does. This is one of his ways to sell the packages. Now, if you look across the top, the first thing he's put up there is 100K. He's actually put 100,000K, but don't sweat the small stuff. So you're sitting down and doing a consultation with somebody and saying, how much do you want to make over in the next 12 months? They'll quite often say, I want to make 100,000. Right, okay. So let's look at how we're going to do this. So we've got the different packages. So you can see there, silver, titanium, platinum, diamond. Can you all see those? Yes? Across the top. Right, and then what he's writing down is, what's he written down there? Oh yeah. So the first thing that he's got under silver is he's put $500. So if you're putting a marketing budget together, so how much are you going to spend? So ask them the question, how much do you want to invest in traffic? If it's 500, 1,000 or 2,000, write that figure in there. So that's this thing up here. You all see that, yes? And then they just say they're S. So if you're going to be positioned at silver, you're going to spend $500 in this example. If you're titanium, same. Platinum, same. Diamond, same. Okay? That's then going to give you, what does that then say? 300 leads, for example. You're going to get the same for titanium, platinum, diamond. And then he says the advert, the amount of work that you do on the advert is the same. So there's your advert. Why has that just gone off? Okay, I get it. So there's your advert. Whatever advert that you create, it's going to be the same for titanium, platinum, and diamond as well. Now, the commissions you're now going to make, and this is when he breaks down, this is when he's upselling now. All right. So the amount of money that you're going to make at silver level is $1,250. But the money that you're going to make at titanium is how much? 4,250, is it? 4,550? 4,550, okay. And then if they're positioned at platinum, how much do they make? 10,000. If it's diamond, it's 20,050. Everybody see that? Now, if you're at silver level, how much profit is somebody going to make if they're positioned at silver level? Realistically in the business? Zero. Nothing. You don't make money at silver. And I'd say that to people as well. As you're talking to people and they're saying, well, I just want to try silver out. This is how you get over the toe dippers. People are saying, I just want to try it out at silver and see how it goes. Well, you break this kind of stuff down to them. And so, let me be brutally honest with you. Do you know how much money you're going to make at silver level? Nothing at all. Absolutely diddly squat. And just be dead straight faced about it. You're a business coach. You're being honest with people and direct. I want to save you the hassle. I mean, if you know that they can do other things, then you've got to push them hard for that. But at silver level, they're not going to make any profits. Okay, Amelia?
So why do we have silver then? Why do people buy silver?
Okay, so are you serious about your business? Okay, I'm talking about getting positioned here. I'm talking about getting it positioned at the right place. So the silver is there as a product which you need to be able to sell things. But as far as your business is concerned, you need to be positioned at the right level. So at silver level, you're going to make zero money because look at this number. How much you're going to make? $1,250 for a sale. It might cost you $1,000 in marketing budget to get there. But for the same amount of work, if you're positioned at diamond, you're making $20,000. So can you see the difference there? So you might make some money back, but you need to have silver because that's going to give you access to the initial basic training. That's the first step of your education and training, and it gives you access to the products that you need to sell as well. All right. So you can see the difference and stack that up. And then the next level is the traffic coaching session. So we always put T there. You'd write it out a lot neater than this, obviously, as well. But T stands for traffic sessions. So if you're at silver level, how many traffic sessions do you get? What's he written there? Yeah, that's right. So if you're at silver level, you're going to get 3 traffic sessions. How many traffic coaching sessions do you get at titanium? Keep going. 8. Numbers on there. And then at platinum, it's a bit of a scruffy one. Yeah, 16. And then at diamond, it's how many? 28. Okay. Can you see that? So they're going to get so many more traffic coaching sessions as well, which is going to help them with the support. If they're more analytical, if they're more sociable, they want to get help and support with this as well. Or do you want coaching sessions beyond the training as well? Well, the higher you position, the more you're going to get. It's 28 individual coaching sessions at diamond level. And then so it then breaks down. So in order to hit your 100,000, this is the big number. So in order to hit your $100,000 target, if you're going to be positioned at silver level, how many silver sales do you need to make to get $100,000? What does it say? 80. 80. But how many at titanium level? 22. How many at platinum level? 10. How many at diamond level? 5. And then you add to that, you can add all sorts of things to that as well. How many masterminds have you got to go on? Well, 1 at titanium, 2 at platinum, and 3 at diamond level. You can then add the tuition reimbursement. So you can actually put in the bottom down here as well, add things to this as well, and say things like your tuition reimbursement. So if you're at silver level and you make 5 sales, how much have you made? $6,500, correct? Okay, I know you were thinking it. Thereabouts. Plus, you're going to get your $2,500 back. So you make $10,000. If you make 5 diamond sales, how much do you make? Answer is $160,000. It's huge. The difference between the two is huge. What you could also add into that as well as you're going through and writing these things down is the pass ups. So let's say you got positioned at silver, actually write in the numbers underneath. So if you've made 80 silver sales, that's potentially 80 diamond sales. Add all that up, and that's all potential pass ups. Now I know that not every silver sale goes diamond, but just show the power of how much it goes up by. Okay, is that useful? Something that you can bring into your arsenal. I'll be training up on this quite heavily. And the other thing was what Matt shared, which was pretty cool. Okay, so this is something that Matt was sharing. Now I'm going to get, when we do the training, by the way, I'm going to get Russell to Skype in. I'm also going to get Matt and Michael Hagan to Skype in as well. But this is what Matt does. So Matt is one of the top closers in here as well. And this is where he's talking about, this is about collecting money now. The most important thing we need to do is collect money on Saturday and Sunday in the event, okay? You've got till midnight Sunday to collect. After that is penders. After that, it doesn't really count, okay? So we want to make sure that as much money is collected on no later than midnight Sunday, because that's when we report the figures, and that's the end of it, all right? So a lot of people think that they can use funding and financing as a way to position themselves. No, funding and financing is for traffic and investing in your business. You're getting positioned in the business comes from what can we do today? So you dig deep for the money. And this is where you break it all down. So if you look over, where does he start off over here? So he's got, how much money have you got over here? Just draw boxes. So you've got 20,000 there in your pension plan. You've got 10,000 on the credit card. So take 20,000 here, and you've got different lines of credit that you can take out there as well, okay? So just take that for what it's worth. I'm going to get Matt to explain it in more detail because he spent a good 15 minutes or so on this. All right. I don't know what little pictures were at the bottom there you could see. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Right. So just get used to writing things down. So as you're speaking to people, write things down. People's brains always work in pictures. So as you're talking to people, when you're selling the benefits as well, don't be too direct to talk about numbers and things being obvious. You need to take the time to break it down into painting mental pictures. So whatever it is that you're talking about, you've got to get them to see it in their mind's eye as to what it is that you're referring to. The easiest way to do that is to write down things on a piece of paper, draw diagrams. You've all, I think, seen me do the bit where I've got the sales funnel where I start at the top. If you spend $500, you get 500 clicks. That gets 100 registrations, 40% show rate. You get 40 people showing up at an IMF, 25% buy, so 10 people buy. So that's 10 people you got at HBS, 10 lots of $120. That's the commission that you make. And then you're going to get a percentage of people. I say 80% of people go in silver. And then you've got 25%, I think, of people then go into platinum. 56% of those go into diamond. 25% go in titanium. 56% of those people then go to platinum, and 1 in 3 then go to diamond. And then I break down how much commission's made. Your $500 investment is worth 40,000, providing you're positioned at diamond. And then I take it away. I sort of start to scribble out, if you're not diamond, then you can take 10 grand off that. If you're not platinum, you take another 10 grand off that. And it shows the power of the pass ups then as well. Use that, repeat that, do that in your own style. You know, the more that you can really get the message across to people, the better. But your focus is on, first of all, collecting money in the event, getting them positioned at the right level with the money that they've got right now. I'm not interested in people promising to pay in the future. You know, every single person wants to be diamond. You're not going to have a challenge selling people into the packages. That's done. Ken will do a great job of that. It's a no-brainer. It's the best business in the world. There's no reason why they wouldn't want to do it. That's a given. But we shouldn't be spending or wasting any time trying to sell the packages. That's a given. They all want to do it. So our job is to find the money and get them positioned that way. So this is where it comes down to the main thing I want to really harp on about is posturing. So when you're sitting down with people, your job is not to sell them. Their job is to sell you. 100% they've got to sell you on why they should join. So the script that I'm going to be going through in KL starts with the first time you sit down with people saying, right, it looks like I've been set up as your coach. I'm going to be your success coach for this weekend. So I'm going to be working with you. So anytime you feel you want to move forward, come and see me. So that's future pacing. That's setting them up for the weekend. Then as you're going through the weekend and you're sitting down with them, each time we're going to be talking about, and write these words down, it's an interview and qualification process. All right. So it's an interview and qualification process. So if you feel that you want to get started, if you think that you can do this, then I want you to come and speak to me and we'll start the interview and qualification process. And you need to be telling me why you think you qualify for this. All right. So keep it business focused. Don't start going around the houses. Get straight to the point and just set up the questions. Look them straight in the eye and ask them directly. So do you think you can do this? Is this something that you can see yourself doing? And what is it that makes you think that you can do this? Tell me why you think you're right for this business. We want to work aggressively with people. We want to partner with the right kind of people. We've got a strong success record, which comes from the kind of people that we have coming through. But you have to qualify to work with us. It's not going to happen any other way. So you tell me why you qualify for this, and get them to sell you on why they should be joining, not the other way around. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good. Right. Books I want you to all have read. I mean, you're all doing the book of the month, okay? And I want you to keep up with the book of the month now. So you've got a choice every single month to read a book, but ideally we should be aiming to read a book a week. I'm going to be pushing that a little bit more moving forward, but there's a couple of essential reads that I want us all to read, and that's the closing, what's it called? Closer's Guide by Grant Cardone. Can somebody help me out? I've got it on here. The Closer's Survival Guide, that's the one, okay? So, Survival Guide audiobook. There he is. This book audio program was written and narrated by myself. Yes, cool, right? So that's 1.5 speed as well, okay? So you can listen to it at mega speeds. All right, so everybody needs to read that. That's an incredible, incredible resource for learning how to overcome objections and things, okay? So make sure that is read, please, every one of you, or listened to by the end of October as well. That's super, super important. I'll be referring a lot to that in the training. So we've got the training coming up on the 30th of October. So make sure that you go in, that you've all read that, because I'll be referring back to that a lot. Okay, so round the houses then. Anything from anybody else? Does anybody want to add anything? Give me a chance to drink some water.
Quick question on the...
Just turn your volume down, Carl. Is there somebody else in your room as well?
Okay, go.
Your camera is on. Quick question on the hurdle we might end up facing here with the Indian market on technical.
Hang on, I'm feeding back. Sort your sound out, man. If there's loads of people in the room, you only need one volume up. You don't all need to be listening to it. Just one. So whoever's speaking, if your microphone's open, you should have your speaker open. Everybody else should be muted and speakers turned right down. Now we can't hear you at all. Okay. Sort your schnizzle out, please. Can't hear a thing.
Okay, so the issue that we might end up facing here in India with technical questions, people with technical objections, how would you recommend we close that?
Okay. So what? Give me an example. What kind of question?
The first one that we are probably going to face is, are you positioned? Because none of us here are positioned yet. And then the success rate in India itself, particularly, because they all know what's his name? Shakir Hussain.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them? How do they all know?
Most of them do.
Okay.
And then there's the how many people actually fail in the business, which is something that we get asked a lot. The wrong questions. Yeah.
See my face? Yeah, that's the answer to that question, right? What, fail? I don't know what you mean. So you use these lines. I have never been asked that question before. What do you mean by fail?
Okay.
What do you mean by fail? Tell me.
How many people actually started the business and they don't make any money, or they haven't made any money yet?
Why would you ask that question?
I'm curious to find out.
Why? You want to know what losers do?
I want to invest, but I'm not sure yet. I want to know about the success rate, because before I put my money
That's a different question. Okay, let me stop you there. That's a different question. Okay, so you're now asking about the success rate. A minute ago, you asked about the failure rate. Okay, understand this. You get what you focus on. So if you want to ask me about failure rate, what are you going to find out about? Losers. Okay, so tell me this. Do you see yourself doing this business? If we can provide you with the right training and education and support, and this thing is going to work for you, do you think that you can do this business? Yes. Okay. What makes you think that you can do this business? Put it back on them. Okay. So 100% of people that don't do anything fail anyway, because they're not doing anything. All right. But as far as I'm aware, every single person that I've personally trained, they've made a success out of this. All right. But move on. They're controlling the conversation then. Okay. So just move it back to getting the control. Say, right, that's an interesting question. I've never been asked that one before. Okay. If it's a stupid question like the failure rate or refunds or guarantees or any stupid question like that, just say, what? What are you talking about? I've never been asked that one before. That's a strange one. Don't know where you're coming from. Okay. So get the posturing, get the authority in there. All right. Be a little bit more authoritative. Just take control of the conversation, and just, you need to be in control of that conversation. You've lost it. If they're even asking the question, you're not in the right authoritative thing. So let me, in order to be a good coach, I need to tell you what you need to hear rather than what you would like to hear. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Okay. So can I be brutally honest with you? Yes. Right. Your future success is based on the questions you ask, and that was the wrong question. All right. So in order to be successful, you need to ask the right kind of questions. You need to focus on successful people, find out what the successful people are doing and duplicate that. Would that make sense to you? Yes. Nod your head. Would that make sense to you? Yeah. Good. You're nodding your head. So brilliant. So let me talk to you about the success stories and how you can do that as well. Now, first of all, I don't know if you qualify to work with us, first of all, because as it stands right now, asking questions like that, you're disqualifying yourself. So even if you wanted to work with us, we might not even let you into the system, because we work very closely with people with the right attitude, that are coachable, that have got a strong reason why they want to do this. They can make good decisions. If you're asking me questions like that, then I don't know if this is for you. All right. I'm not going to talk about doing a takeaway just yet. You're not ready for it, but it's almost a takeaway from it. Don't be too keen to try and sell them. You're not there to talk them into it. Remember, they're there to tell you why we should take them on. Big difference. Okay. So do you feel that you could do this? Right. Brilliant. So let me see how we can help you to get started. So do you see that you can do this? Can you see the value of the training? Is Ken a good trainer? Yes. Get these yes questions going back. Have you learned some stuff? Yes. Brilliant. Can you see how with the right training and education, this can be a success? Do you understand that there's people that are making money with this business already? Yes. So would you like to have the same opportunity? If you had the same opportunity to make the same kind of success as, and if they've used Shakir, then that's fine, but don't offer any names until, people, especially people like him. Then would you like to have the same kind of success that they've got, that he's got, that she's got, or whatever? Yeah, okay. Well, this is how they do it. Everybody that's making the most money out of this promotes these events. Now use this line as well. So you do understand here, because you understand that you're in the middle of a sales funnel right now, don't you? All right. And most of them will say, well, yeah, I know I'm being sold to. Right. Well, understand this. And this is going to answer your other question as well. If you can see the success of this sales funnel, you can see how well, that we're looking after you and we're going to help you get positioned to get you started with your business as well. Would you like us to work on your team as well and actually work for you? You know, if they're liking you at this point, you don't offer this until they're liking you, obviously. But if they're liking you and they're respecting you, they can see that you're helping them with the business. Then you can say, well, would you like me to work on your team? You know, you can see the value of this training, can't you? You've got some good training and education from this. Yes. You can see how you can make some money out of this as well. Would you like to offer this to other people as well? You can see the success of this. This is a sales funnel that you're in the middle of right now. All right. And you're going to go through it just once. But if you send other people to this sales funnel, can you see how this is probably the best sales funnel that you've ever seen out there? Would you agree? And they will nod their heads. Brilliant. That's why I'm here to help you out. All right. Some people are good at promoting the business. We've been selected by Matt and Chris, or if you want to mention my name, it's up to you, but been selected by Matt Lloyd because of my ability to help teach, train, and inspire people like yourself. So on that basis, do you feel that you're a good fit for us? Because we're looking for a select number of people to work with on a one-on-one basis. Tell me what makes you think you can do it. All right, and turn it back. Okay? Good question, Carl. Has that answered your question? Of course it has. I know it has. Brilliant. Right, next, who else? Anybody? Anybody else got anything to offer? Questions, concerns, worries?
Chris.
Yes.
So most of us are not
Hang
positioned.
on. Ditch this bloody echoing thing. Sort your schnizzle out, people.
Sorry, most of us are not positioned. So what is the best answer that we could give? Because based on, what do you call that? Hong Kong was it, or is it Bangkok?
Hong Kong.
Yeah, in Hong Kong there was this lady who insisted to speak with someone who is positioned. So what do we do about that if it comes up in India?
Good, right. Same thing I just said to Carl right now. Exactly the same thing. Understand that, so as far as positioning is concerned, I'm learning just like you are as well. We're all on the same journey as learning. My reason for being here is that I've been selected to help you get positioned. My job is to help you in your business, okay? So, where I'm positioned right now doesn't really affect your business in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm still part of the system myself. I'm still going through the process. But my job is to help you with your business, all right? Now, on that basis, and then just take it away. So on that basis, where do you see yourself being positioned? Okay. When are they asking this question, by the way? Is this day 1, 2, or 3? You can go like that, or like that, or like that if you want. Day 3. Okay. So this is sat down on the closing table. Yeah. So I'm assuming this is in the consult right now. Okay. If they're asking you that question, you've lost posturing right from the start. So this comes back down to how you actually start the process over the course of the whole weekend. All right. So you need to have you need to have the authority. You need to have the respect. People need to be coming to you, selling you on why they should join. And if they're asking you questions like that, you've lost it a little bit. Now, I appreciate it's still going to happen because it's an objection. Okay. Now, when people ask or give you objections, 95%, so all the different objections that you're going to get, all right, 95% of the cases, what is the real reason for them giving you that objection? You can do it with a hand signal if you want. It's money. It's always about the money, all right? So you can say, listen, it's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked that. Now, what I found from my experience is people that ask me that question are using it as a bit of a smokescreen because they can't really afford to do the business, or there's a money objection. The challenge they've got is a financial one, and they're looking for an excuse to not move ahead. All right. So just in order to help me to help you, is that where we're at right now? Does it come down to the money? All right. So let's get it back onto the money, because in almost every single case, people want to be positioned at diamond. In almost every single case, everybody would do it if they had the money to do it. So it's always a money objection. The people that are going to give you the most grief, it typically happens around the lunch table on Saturday and asking silly little questions like that. They're your trouble causers. They're your people that were never going to do it anyway, probably super broke. The best way to identify the most broke people is how they look when they turn up on a Friday morning. Who are the broke people? What do they look like? How are they dressed? What do you think? Anybody? No, the opposite. They try to impress, okay? So the scruffy ones are your millionaires, all right? The well-dressed people with designer clothes and designer trainers, broke as, okay? BAF, as I call them, broke as something, okay? So they're trying to impress people by buying things they don't want with money they don't have to impress people they don't even like, okay? Stupid broke people mentality, all right? So when people start giving you grief like that and they start asking you silly questions and they're putting up silly objections and silly reasons like that, generally it's because they're broke and they're never going to turn around and say, listen, I'd love to do this, but I've got no money. It's a pride thing. Ego gets in the way, especially in India. You're going to get a lot of this as well. But it's an ego thing, all right? So get that, just put that to one side, okay? So, you know, at the end of the day, does it matter where I'm positioned right now? Let me just be honest with you. Does it matter where I'm positioned right now? Yes or no? No. Okay, not really. And they might say, well, yeah, if you're asking me to do something that you've not done yourself. Okay, listen, let me tell you straight, as it stands right now, I'm fairly new to the company. I will be positioned at Diamond. I'm in the process of doing this myself, just like you as well. But at the end of the day, my role here is to work for you, is to serve you, is to help you. This is a sales funnel that you're in the middle of right now. You do appreciate this is a sales funnel, don't you? Yes. Awesome. My job is to help support you in the process of this weekend. While Ken's telling you what you need to do, my job is to help you get yourself set up. And I get paid to do this, all right? Now, don't get me wrong, this is not the long-term plan. My goal is to make millions with this as well. But at the moment, I'm paid quite well to travel the world and stay in hotels and teach people yourself how to do this as well. But my job is to help serve you, all right? So you're here, so let's take it back to them. You need to remind them of why they're there. If you're on day 3, you're going to have the where are you now form as well. Because by the way, on day 1, when you're doing the where are you now forms, you need to keep those to yourself as well. Keep them in a group, by the way. Keep them in alphabetical order. So when you do the consultations on Sunday, I want you to bring those forms into that consult as well. So you can then go through it with them as well and remind them of why they're there, okay? So let's talk about you. I mean, I can talk about me all day long. It's my favorite subject, but it's of no benefit to you. You know, you're here because of your issues. Now, with respect, I haven't got all day. You know, we've got limited time. There's plenty of other people waiting to see me right now. So let's just get down to business right now. If you've postured yourself right from day 1, they're not going to come to you with silly questions like that, ideally. If you posture yourself properly, you're there to help and support. You're not getting into meaningless conversations, and you're there to talk serious business, talk about money. They shouldn't even be asking you that question. So if they are, understand that you've not done it right on day 1. But even if they're still asking you that question, you can deal with it in seconds. You know, my job is here to help you. You're in the sales funnel right now. My job is to help you get positioned. Do you understand that? Yeah. Awesome. Right. So can you see the power of this? Yes. Isn't Ken a great trainer? Haven't you learned loads this weekend? It's good, isn't it? And you can see the benefit of how this business can work for you, can't you? Yes. Brilliant. All right. So on that basis, tell me where would you see yourself being positioned? And then take it back to them. Okay. It's an easy one, that one. All right. Good. Anything else? Anybody? Nope. Okay. So things I want you to work on then is your introduction. I want you to all do the videos. Okay. Send them through to me. All right. Do that tonight or, in the next couple of hours or so. It's only going to take you 3 to 5 minutes to put it together. Once we've agreed that the introduction works, I want you to script it out. You can do the script after the weekend. I don't want you to worry about that just now. I want you to master it. So get it to video first, trial it, test it on each other. Get together as a group tonight around the bar or in one of the rooms, I don't know, and just take it in turns to just go through and test it in front of each other and give each other honest feedback. That 3 to 5 minutes is going to be the big difference between people wanting to come and speak to you or not. If people don't want to come to speak to you, you should be able to just stand at the back and have a queue of people come in to want to talk to you. All right? It's never, I'm not going to encourage that. That's good. That's going to be what's going to happen if you do it right. But ultimately, you've got to get out there and speak to the right people. But people need to be wanting to come and speak to you. And that's going to come down to how well you do your introduction. Okay? It's all about posturing. It's all about digging for the money. We're going to start digging for the money early days on the Friday just before lunch now. Then you're going to start the scripts, which is about positioning yourself as their coach. So I've been selected as your coach. I'm here to help you out and move forward with this. When you feel that you're ready to move forward, come and speak to me. All right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering a qualification and interview process where I'm going to work with you, and I'm going to put a case forward to Matt and to Chris and to Ken or to whatever to see if you are a right fit for the business. All right. So if you're positioning it correctly from the start, and rather than us trying to convince them to buy into Mobe, if we're setting it up in the right way from day 1, that they've got to qualify to work with us, then you're not going to have those kind of questions because they're going to come up to you and say, please take me on. This is why I'm going to be a good fit for you. Can you see the big difference with this? This is huge. This is life-changing stuff. We've gone in the USA from doing $3,000 and $4,000 per head sold and collected, a little bit less than that as well, but they're selling over $20,000 a head right now. All right. Now in the US, they've got the funding and the financing options, which we don't have over here. All right. But we should be getting $4,000 to $5,000 per head sold. That's the goal for the weekend. All right. Now the Indian market specifically is going to be a unique one. You saw what a challenge that you had in the IMF, but I think the people that you've got coming to the HBS will be very well positioned and very well qualified. I think you're going to have some good people in the room. All right. The Indians have a lot of money. But they are going to be analytical. They want to know stats and averages. That's fine. How many testimonial videos do you know about? It should all be at least 10. All right. So when you're speaking to people, find out what is their their background. Find out what their background is. If they're a teacher, if they're an accountant, find somebody who's got we've got a testimonial video that you can share with them. You can share with them and talk about the story. You need to know the individual testimonial videos in the Limitless book. Refer back to that. Okay, so that's the best way to sell to those people. Testimonial videos work really well. Ken, I think, does quite a few testimonial videos from stage as well. So refer back to those. I want you all listening to the verbiage that he's using. So whatever he says, you need to use the same words, because if they hear it 2 and 3 times in a row, it must be right, not made up. That makes sense? Nice belt, Ben. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Yeah? Now I can go on and on and on, but I want you to make sure you're nice and fresh. What time is it over there now? Is it, how far are they in advance? Lots of hours. 9 o'clock at night, okay? So Ken's landing at 3 a.m. Is the room set up over in India? So are you going to do that tonight? Okay.
Yes, we'll be doing it at 12:30.
All right, okay, so you've not got access till then. Okay.
There's a wedding.
Got it. All right. That's cool. Go and gate crash. Leads. Get some prospects. All right, so we're going to set it up tonight. Yeah, Ken's landing at 3 o'clock. So I need to make sure that you're all in the room. I want you to practice your introductions. You can do that tonight while you're waiting to start, okay? So I want you to role play. I want you to go through. You've all got your closing Bibles, yes? The objections that you're going to get. I want you to role play those tonight between now and starting in the room. When you're setting up the room tonight as well, do it at the same time. Be role playing, be training with each other. I want you to make sure you're organized. Make sure you know what Ken does at every point. So have you got all the paperwork ready? You need to, where are we now? Forms, compensation plans, whatever else that it is that he needs, folders, agreements, the lot, it all needs to be ready, okay? Be organized with it. Everybody needs to know where everything is as well. Who's managing the event? Carl, good man, right? So Carl, so you take overall responsibility for everything. Everybody else, if Carl asks you to do something, or sorry, tells you to do something, you do it, no question, okay? Carl's manager, he's got responsibilities, he's got stresses. I'll be on his back if there's any mistakes, so don't cock it up for him, all right? So if Carl asks you to do something, you do it. If you've got an issue with it, you come to me, but you do it anyway, okay? So he's going to make those decisions. That's the role of being manager, all right? So anybody undermines Carl or the manager, then, you know, you'll be off the next event. Simple as that, okay? You know, I'm clamping down on this. One of the most important things we need to have is the right attitude needs to come into the room. Everybody needs to work together as a single team. You can be the best closer in the world, but if you're not gelling as a team, then it's no good to the rest of you, okay? It affects the speaker, it affects the energy of the room, it affects each other, it affects the client's experience of the event, it affects sales, it affects the affiliates' back pocket, it affects Mobe as a business. Everybody gets affected, all right? So I'd rather have that one person out of the room, out of the business, in fact, if they're going to affect people like that. And it makes a huge, huge difference. So make sure that you're all, you know, working together well as a team. Read the books, keep testing each other on it, role play and train every single day, you know, before every single session. What I want you to do on Sunday as well is whenever you finish on Sunday, you're going to have X number of sales in the bag. You're going to have people that you could have sold that got away. What do you do on a Sunday normally? Anything like the London team, we go out and get drunk. Well, this time it's going to be different because you're going to spend at least an hour, maybe 2, training on a Sunday after the weekend's finished because it's fresh in your mind. You're going to know the clients that you've got and you're going to know the sales that you've lost. I want you to make a note of these and I want you to role play the scenario and find out what you could have done different to get those extra sales. Remember, I want you to focus on collecting the money in the event. Don't just let them tell you what they're going to pay. You dig and dig and dig for the money. You break it down. You draw things on pieces of paper. Okay, keep it going like that. Okay. Now, anything that you need over and above what you've got between you as a team, reach out to Nora. I'm going to be speaking myself this weekend, but we're going to be, what are we behind? 5.5 hours. Okay, so how does that work out? So they're going to be starting before us, yeah, and finishing before us. All right, so it's going to be difficult for me. But if you've got any feedback or any questions or any issues you need, I'll get back to you as quick as I can. All right, and I'll help you as much as possible. But it's important that you all work well as a team. Listen to what Carl says. Support Carl. You know, it's not just don't wait to be told stuff. You've all got enough experience to know what needs to happen in the room. So if Ken mentions a credit card script, if you then have to go looking for it, you've all failed as a team, every single one of you. It needs to be, if Ken mentions a credit card script, somebody should already have it in the hand and ready to go. There shouldn't be any delay. If Ken needs something, you get it to him. If he needs a Red Bull, if he needs a cup of tea or a water, Martin that normally supports him, but you know what Ken needs as well, don't you, Kate? You've helped him out at the front of the room before, so make sure he's got all of the things he needs. You know, he's got the whole weekend to go, so you need to make sure you support him in everything he says. So take good notes, listen to the verbiage, use it, repeat it yourself. All right. Remember posturing. Remember, it's the interview and qualification process. Get them to sell you on why we should get them as a part of Mo. Use the testimonial stories that we've got. Testimonial sell. Okay. Ask them if they want to be a future testimonial as well. Well, in order to do that, they need to be successful. Overcome the objections in the way that we've talked about. The stuff that's been mentioned on Russell's call that you've got written down on the Closer's Bible. I want you to spend between now and 12:30 role-playing all of those objections. One of the biggest challenges you're going to have this weekend is objections, and I want you to practice and practice and practice that so that you're all saying the exact same verbiage as well. Because if you've got people going from one person to the next and they're getting a different answer, nobody's going to sell them, all right? So it just needs to be consistency across the board. Is everybody okay with that? Yes? Awesome. I believe in you. I trust you. I know you're going to have a great weekend. I think we're going to set some records. I think India is going to be an amazing market. Indian people have a lot of money, but they need to trust you. All right. So business, they're very much business orientated. So they are going to appreciate you being direct. Use these words. Can I be honest with you? Can I be direct and brutal with you? All right. Ken will set that up from the stage as well. So when people are coming back, follow that up as well. I'll be honest with you. If people are asking the stupid questions, tell them it's stupid. Just say, you know, can I be honest with you? That was the wrong question. You know, your success is based on the questions you ask, and that was the wrong one. All right. So let me help you. I want to put a good case forward to you. So anybody that wants to qualify for Diamond, you know, they've got to go through an interview, and every single person just to join MOBE needs to go through an interview and qualification process. But Diamond is by invitation only. So if you consider yourself suitable for Diamond, I want you to come to me and let me know. What I need to do then is we need to put a case together. So this is the last thing I'll finish with now. We're going to be doing a Skype conference call, all right, with the area manager, call me whatever you want, Chris Rowell, and Matt Lloyd himself. What we need to do, because Matt won't just take anybody on for Diamond, we've got to put a strong case forward. All right, so I want you to tell me what I need to take to Matt. What do we need to tell him? I will bat strongly for you. I will put a good case forward because I want to see you as a success. But you tell me why we should take you on board and get them to give you all the reasons to sell them. Does that make sense? Cool. Right. Do your role plays. I want you to give me some. Once you've finished your role plays and start setting up the room as well, I want you all to send me a private message on Skype, just letting me know what role plays you've done. Okay. And I want you to give me honest feedback on each other as well. Give each other the feedback. Don't tell me anything that you've not told that person yourself. But I want you to be brutal and honest with each other as well. All right? So when Liana does her introduction, tell her what went well. Tell her what needs to change. When Kate does her introduction, when you're all doing your overcoming objections, all right? If somebody's fluffing a little bit, if somebody's like going around the houses, they're not getting to the point, tell them. You know, be brutal. You've got to be really, really honest with each other. I'm going to start instilling that as well. I want brutal and honesty from each other. We're going to do it to the students, do it to each other as well, okay? I always instill that both for myself. I want people to be honest with me. When I'm speaking, I need to know when I come off stage, yeah, tell me I've done a great job. My ego needs stroking a little bit, but I'm not going to grow and learn if I don't know where I can improve. And every single one I do, I can always improve. If we're not selling 100% of students, you know, we can improve. 100% of people that turn up at your home business summit this weekend want to be sold. 100% of them, that's why they're there. And if they don't buy, we've done something wrong, okay? So just have that in mind. Everybody good? Good. Right. If you need anything, reach out to myself or Nora. But go and smash it this weekend. Do Ken proud. Bearing in mind he's landing at 3 o'clock. He's going to be traveling for hours and hours and hours through the night. So just reach out to him. Watch his energy. If he needs to break, tell him. If there's something going on in the room, this is another thing as well, by the way. If there's any challenges in the room, I need you to all be stood on your feet. I don't want anybody sat down. You know, it's not a relaxing kind of weekend. Be on your feet. Be reading the audience as well. Check out for WhatsApp groups. Check out for networking and any kind of negativity at all. All right. And if we need to go through and speak to Ken, that's fine. So just write a little note. Okay. In fact, just one person should do this. It should be Carl. All right. So if there's any issues going on, report it to Carl. And Carl, if you need to report to the speaker, just put it on a note and take it up to his table mid-speech. It doesn't matter what he's doing. Speak to him first, because he might prefer you to do it through Skype and stand up and put your hand up at the back, but get an agreement with him as to how you're going to communicate that to him. Because if there's an issue going on in the room and he's just talking about other things without even addressing it, then he's wasting his time and it's not working. So we need to make sure we're communicating well with the speaker, identify those kind of issues and get it put to bed straight away. Okay, so go and smash this weekend. I want you to set a new record. Let's go big, go hard, or go home. Yes? Cool. And I'm interviewing 2 new people as well for the Asian markets right now. 2 strong closers that come from experience as well. So they'll be good. They'll help you grow. Good stuff. Okay. Right. Have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy your role plays. No time for sleep. Sleep's for the week. Remember that. And make sure Ken's got plenty of coffee, Red Bull, or whatever it takes tomorrow. Okay. Let me know.